Chris!
Heath,
We made it!
we sure did.
I'm celebratory.
It's a celebratory time, both for us, this being episode 50 of Mobius Tunes, and for being a gamer. There's a lot of exciting things going on.
Oh, yeah.
However, I come to you today with nothing but disappointment on my
Why?
face. So here's how I spent my morning today, Heath. This is September 17th, 2020, by the way. It also happens to be the release date of NVIDIA's next generation of graphics cards. And I tried to nab one for myself.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, I thought I had my expectations in check. I knew they were going to be in high demand. But I thought showing up right at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on the launch day, hammering that F5 key, I could make it in.
The early bird, making sure you're first at the door. There's no camping out in front of the store anymore because everything's online.
You would be surprised. Some people on the NVIDIA subreddit were lining up at Best Buys physically for these graphics cards. This is the 3000 lineup, RTX 3000.
The meatloaf.
I had 3 browser tabs open. One on NVIDIA.com, one on BestBuy.com, and one on EVGA.com.
One on Circuit City.
Yeah, and I was hammering F5 right up until the launch time. And
So
then,
wait, F5 is refresh?
Yeah.
All right, and you were refreshing the site because it said like,
All it said was coming soon.
oh, and okay. It wasn't in your shopping cart yet.
Right, could not be added.
Could not be added. Okay.
And in each case, in between presses of the F5 key, which were milliseconds apart, I saw all 3 sites go from coming soon to out of stock.
Wow.
There was never even the opportunity to put it in your shopping cart, much less check out in time.
Was it, what are they called? DDoS? Those attacks?
Oh, like a denial of service attack?
Yeah, DDoS.
Direct
yeah.
denial of service?
Yeah, is
I
that
think.
like, could that be why the website was showing
So
all sold out?
all of the fellow gamers who I was commiserating with on the subreddit, all were blaming bots. Apparently you can write a script that will check it out immediately.
Uh-huh.
And this is all anecdotal, but just based on the reactions I saw online to this, it seems like NVIDIA had produced the supply to satiate maybe like 2% of the demand here. They were not even close. Seemingly no one on the subreddit got one who wanted it.
So how do I buy one now? Do I have to go to a scalper?
You either go to a scalper or wait 2 to 3 months for NVIDIA to make more stock. So it wasn't a very exciting launch day for the next generation of graphics cards. I'm not even that upset about it. Now I just feel like part of the in crowd, who everyone is like upset about this, and I'm among them. I can be a fellow comrade to commiserate with.
Yeah, at least you got your PlayStation 5 pre-order.
Yeah, that went smoothly as well. We're going to talk about that later in the news.
All right.
But that was my morning today. I had a fellow coworker also trying to do it with me, and he did not get through.
Nobody's getting through.
I have not heard of anyone getting through.
This is fun, though.
NVIDIA sold out their entire stock of 9 GPUs today.
Yeah, good luck to you guys. I'm not in the market for any of these new age, new gen stuff because I got tons to play with.
Sure, and as do I, which helps alleviate the blow.
You want to go first or should I?
I'll get mine out of the way because it's really short. Astute listeners will notice we're recording like 4 days after the previous episode. So not a lot of time has gone by, but that's okay because episode 50 is going to be a banger regardless. The only thing I have of note that I've been playing is I finished Moonlighter, which is the game I couldn't stop praising last week, the hybrid game between dungeon delving and selling items in your merchant shop, which you have collected during your adventuring in the dungeons. So it's a cool mashup of genres. I finished it. I didn't get a chance to praise one little aspect of it last episode that I neglected to mention, that being part of the game's appeal is collecting like the most valuable items you come across in the dungeon, right? Part of the max minning you're doing is shuffling them around in your inventory to get the best configuration. And that could result in you spending a lot of time in your menus, right? Which is a time-consuming process, not the most exciting thing in the world.
I beg to differ. If I'm playing Persona 5, I'm staying in those menus for a generous amount of time.
That's true. I mean,
Explain how Persona 5 has the best video game menus.
Persona 5's menus are the only menus I've ever seen someone make a cosplay of.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, because
Like the black and white.
the different menu options that appear around your character, like attack or a baton pass.
No, that's just, I mean, that's just like the battle engine.
Sure.
I'm talking about like settings.
Oh, okay.
When you pause the game and Joker like swings in,
They are gorgeous.
and then you go to abilities and it's like a book turn. Yeah. Those are
that game oozes style.
okay. But is Moonlighter stylish?
Much more mundane.
Okay,
in
it's
menu
minimalist.
department.
Yeah,
But
is it smooth?
so a concern you might have would be, hey, if I'm looking at this menu all the time, doesn't that kind of deplete the tension of the game? Won't I get kind of bored? And you're under time pressure, actually. I never mentioned this. In the dungeon, when you're gathering the items, there is a ticking clock, which you don't see, but it is incentivizing you to get to the next floor of the dungeon or to get out, because eventually an invincible monster is going to show up and then chase you down. Much in the way like
Resident Evil.
Yeah, Resident Evil or Spelunky works. If you take too long in a Spelunky level, a ghost will chase you.
Okay.
This has a giant green monster that chases you. So as much as I'd like to spend all the time in the world making my inventory perfect, you can't really afford to do that without running into the monster. So that constant sense of tension is very much appreciated. That's a good design choice they made in Moonlighter. And then just final thoughts. The game lasted as long as it needed to. If it had gone on any longer, I beat it in like 22, 23 hours. I think I would have gotten fatigued on it. They explored everything they had to do with this set of mechanics. I'm glad they didn't elongate it any further. And as far as the ending goes, no spoilers, but this game is kind of a quirky twist ending I was not expecting.
Oh.
For a game that the plot was just throwaway up until now, it hits you with quite a bit of plot right at the end, which I did not see coming, and it was kind of funny. So for a game where I wasn't expecting anything out of the ending except for like a credit sequence, it had a cool ending, and that's all I'll say about that.
Okay. I'm ready to pick this game up, but I also don't want to shatter the perfect feeling I get from just imagining like, ooh, is the final boss moonlighting as something? Or yeah, is the boss's facade just a moonlit of their actual profession?
That would be cool.
That would have been cool. Okay.
When's
Moonlighter 2? This came out
more than 2 years ago.
Well, yeah.
The developers called Digital Sun. They made this game. They released like a DLC pack for it, but other than that, they haven't released any other video games. So I'm excited to see what their next title is whenever that comes.
Cool.
I'm not sure if I want a Moonlighter 2 or them to do something completely different.
Nah, but just like in the same vein of things are not as they seem.
Sure, I'd like to see them mash up two different genres.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that's all I've got. Heath, what have you been playing?
All right. I beat Senua's Sacrifice.
You beat it.
And let me just get this out of the way. Senua slaps. It is a fabulous game. It is also a dreadful game. I would recommend this as much as I would recommend Babadook. Have you seen the film?
Never.
Babadook is a horror movie starring a single mother, widow type. Yeah, definitely a widow. And the whole movie is she's got to take care of this kid. And she's driven to madness by her grief. That's the monster.
Okay.
Because she lost her husband, probably. And the standout line is the child is screaming in the back, right? Because the child can like see the monster, but the mom can't. The mom at one point just turns to the back seat and goes, "Why can't you be normal?"
All right, I've seen that.
Okay, you have. Okay. You laugh, but it's also just a horribly tormented film.
Sure.
From a viewing perspective. And as much as when I watched it, I was like, oh, the monster's going to come in right now. It's a tough watch. despite how good it is, and it's critically acclaimed. I'm not the first person to praise Babadook, nor am I the first person to praise Senua's Sacrifice.
You, just to be clear, you like to call it Senua's Sacrifice. I think most people probably call it.
I'm not going to call it.
Most people call it Hellblade.
Why?
Because the name is Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice.
But going forward,
Uh-huh.
when we talk about the sequel,
Sure.
the phrasing is not going to be, in this rendition of Hellblade, we once again follow Senua.
I think most people will call it Hellblade 2. That's my prediction.
Imagine, Chris. Imagine if somebody was like, the Origami King, Paper Mario. Like it's so backwards.
Right, yeah. Hellblade does
It's
not...
Paper Mario.
The title of Hellblade does not conjure up the images of what this game is all about.
Yeah, that's a Doom clone.
Right,
That's
yeah.
a Overwatch.
Makes sense.
I was sweating during what I'm calling the Trust Your Senses trial.
Yeah.
My God. So this game, okay. How do I take this? The gameplay is okay. Let me first say that the Wikipedia page for this game is so long.
Yeah?
Because it talks about the main character's psychoses and like the mental research that they went into that. They talk about how the motion capture, because this is an indie team, so they was in the Wikipedia article you read, they used the conference room as a capture room, and the main actress was just a freelance video editor like
Right.
me, who just landed the role.
I don't think she had any other acting credits.
No, but she could scream real good
She sure can.
and be very sad.
Yes.
So read the Wikipedia page. It's less stressful than the game, but
Right.
just as interesting. So the game has okay gameplay. It's hacking and slashing, and it's puzzle solving. And that was fine. It didn't overstay its welcome. It sometimes did the rule of threes.
Sure.
Around the third one, you have a boss fight.
Yeah.
I played most of the game on auto difficulty, like I
Okay.
mentioned. Or
Which-
did I cut that out of the last episode? I think I did.
Unsure. That's like the dynamic difficulty, I believe.
Yeah, where it scales with your skill level. And I'll tell you one part of the game where I had to switch to easy,
Okay.
and I'm not sure if that affected the end, but going back to these little trials, there's a stay in the light kind of challenge.
Mm-hmm.
There are these portal vision-y type challenges, and then there was this sonogram. Your vision is such that it represents like Daredevil vision. You know the Marvel hero
Yes.
who is blind, so he
He's-
can only see through sound.
Sees via echolocation.
So it's like this Ben Affleck staticky. What can I hear? And these monsters,
Yeah.
which look to be, and the whole point is that you can barely make out the details. They look like hands, just giant person-sized hands. But imagine the palm is just bubbling with curses. And they just walk on their fingertips. And they kind of bounce and pulse. And you don't want to get near them.
No, this is where the game turns into like full-blown horror.
So I didn't die, but it was still super tense, and I was just sweating profusely. And then I went over to the other stone where you have to, navigate this little swampy area, and then you go into this house, and then in this house there's a big door, and your boyfriend's on the other side of it, and there's 3 runes that you got to go find. But this introduces like a timed sequence. I'm referring to this sequence as the mob. Like the plague mob.
Okay.
You'll remember this immediately. There's fire at the end of a hallway,
Yeah.
and loud like chukapata. I immediately ran toward it like an idiot
Sure.
and died a fiery death. And there's also this cool, I'm calling it Outer Wild style vision distortion,
Sure.
like a kaleidoscopic. Don't go this way,
yeah.
but
And this is a very maze-like corridors you're trying to navigate, right?
I have initially thought it was procedurally generated,
Sure.
but it's not. It's just a maze.
I died so many times during this section.
Bruh, read my docket. Plague mob segment equals rough. 10 deaths to the mob, went from elbow to shoulder in 15 minutes.
Which is your cancerous growth on your arm.
If you were playtesting this game And as a game developer, you look at the data and you see, all of my playtesters went from single-digit deaths to double-digit deaths.
Yeah.
Over the course of like 10 minutes.
Sure.
This is the most broken part of the game.
I easily died more than 10 times here.
Yeah, and you thought, I'm doomed, right? Because every time the black rod's creeping, her bicep gone, upper delt.
We should explain this growth in depth here. So at the beginning of the game, you're greeted with text. For one of the first times in the whole game, you see text telling you, Senua, she's been infected with this affliction. I don't remember what it's called.
The rot. It's
the rot. It starts on her arm as this black growth, and it says every time you die, you get closer to permanently failing the game as this growth grows up her arm towards her brain.
Veins, yeah.
And it's visually presented in the game on Senua's character model.
Very cool, like a Dead Space.
Yeah, very cool. And
explain what Dead Space.
Oh, sure.
Explain that's why you're here.
In Dead Space, you play as Isaac Clarke, an engineer who has a spacesuit, and the back of his spacesuit has colored lights on it,
his
which
spinal cord looking thing.
Right, which represents your health in the game. You don't have a health bar, you just have the lights on your spinal column.
Awesome. There's not enough of that type of representation in games.
Which Senua does pull off here. And okay, so hearing that really early on in the game makes you want to avoid death like the plague. You are so stressed about dying because if you die too many times, so you think, you have to start from square one. Your save file gets wiped.
Which is why when you get to the plague mob and you die those 3 times in a row in quick succession, you go to YouTube and type in Senua's Sacrifice, no commentary, and you skip to like 5 hours in.
Yeah.
Did you not do that?
I probably did.
Okay. Because, here's the tricky thing, right? Senua's Sacrifice implements great gameplay elements that are pretty fresh and cool and nice. Spoilers from here on out. Skip to the timestamp if you want to avoid spoilers for a good game that you should play if you have huge balls and you're not scared like I am.
Yeah, you should. It's well worth playing.
And that's why the permadeath, it's better now that I know that it's a bluff.
I know, it is.
So the permadeath, it never was. If it reaches your head, you die. The rot will stop creeping up once it disappears under your neckline of your armor.
Yeah. The game developers explicitly lied to you.
Much in the way that Senua's voices lie to her. There was a particular moment. Remember when if you step into the shadows, it's nightmare fuel, and if you stay for too long, you die. But there's a moment where you grab a torch, and that's your safety. The voices at one point straight up said "Oh, it's going out. The torch is going out." And I was like, "Is it really?" And I absolutely backtracked to the nearest permanent light source.
Okay.
But it was a lie. The torch stays lit the whole time.
That's awesome.
And so the voices lie to Senua and trick you, and the game devs lie to you and trick you.
Right.
And that's just poetry because it rhymes.
It is super interesting. It was a kind of a controversy when the game came out, the fact that there actually is no permadeath.
Yeah, people shit on this game despite it being just so novel and so creative.
Yeah, I mean, we've already listed half a dozen things about this game that are super one-of-a-kind and interesting. The actress who's never acted before, the attention to mental health, the weird approach to audio, the lying about permadeath, all of it.
And yeah, granted, the enemy variety is limited, and some of the puzzles might seem repetitive, but overall, this game is deserving of generally positive reviews. And I am looking forward to the next game. I know I said to the contrary last episode, but man, what really sold it for me was the ending. So Galena, Senua's mom, got it the worst of anyone.
She sure did.
And there were absolutely real people who were victims of culties, zealousy,
superstition.
Excuse me. Yeah. Victims of superstition who were for sure burned at the stake. We know this. And it made you feel so bad for Senua. And I love my girlfriend, but I don't think it would have been able to do what Senua did. She's fighting monsters, albeit mostly in her head. And she's going through like fire and crossing big scary beams, which just made the ending so cool. So the ending is like you go into the last area, you're fighting guys on the bridge, and it's more of the same. But like once you're in Hela's base.
Yeah, her domain.
Yeah. And Senua is kind of like, I'm not afraid anymore, but it says it better than that. Do enemies become easier? You start one-hitting the easiest guys, right?
I think I believe that something of that nature did occur.
Okay. Yeah. That made it all worth it.
Yeah.
The limiters come off and the vocals come in. There's like
that
vocals
song.
of the song. Yeah. And I don't know if you did this, but I got a lot better at the combat since last episode. If you do like fast, strong attack, it'll do like a combo, which gets another hit in. I got much better at dodging and kicking. And then if you sprint, she does a lunge attack.
She does.
If you chain those lunges, especially when the limiters come off and the beginning of the game enemies are one hit and the vocals are there and you are dropping bad guys so quickly compared to how it was the whole, like for the past 6 hours. So rad. I'm so glad that her power scaled in that way. I'm not doing it justice by describing it, but I think that power scaling and the visuals and the orchestration, it made me want more of this series, despite how terrifying it was at parts.
Absolutely. That final fight, I recall, I broke out in a cold sweat.
Yeah.
It was that impactful.
Yeah, super cool, super meaningful, because it's all about reconciling your grief and acknowledging that your boyfriend's death was out of your control and you're not to blame.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. That final fight lies to you once again. The fight only ends once you fail.
Yeah, I didn't like that as much.
Okay.
Because I was on easy difficulty, so I did it for like 8 minutes.
I lasted quite a while too.
Yeah,
but
I think... I don't know.
There is no way to win that fight.
There isn't, and I'm not saying that like Hela should have cheap shotted you with her undead god power, but overall, Senua Sacrifice, great game. I can easily excuse it's rough around the edges, not just because I get name dropped in this game a lot.
You do?
The narrator, like I saw with the voiceover stones, he'll tell you, in Ragnarok, the Titans will clash on a heath. Because my name means a field in Old Norse Celtic.
I didn't realize that.
Dude, I get name dropped so much. They met on the heath and they fought it out. And that's what they keep saying that. So I enjoyed that narcissistically. But yeah, Senua, I hope in the sequel, she is just the most badass. I don't want her to be like the big boss or just be like a mother and her daughter also has mental illness. That would be the wrong way to go.
Okay.
If it's like you play as Senua's daughter and then the badass you played as in the first game is just like a flashbacky mother. That would ruin it. But I don't think they'll do that. They did this so tastefully. And man, the cliffhanger is strong in this one. Because she literally looks at the camera and goes, follow me to the sequel. So, okay, that's enough about Senua.
You really came around on this game.
Really, probably the hardest I've ever come around.
Yeah.
And ever will.
I think I went through a similar kind of transition there. The ending is just so strong.
Yeah, dude, Senua's mom got it so hard.
She did.
Yeah.
Okay, so I imagine the next game you're going to talk about, you're not going to be quite as high on.
Yeah, so Senua's Sacrifice takes place when? In like the 1500s?
No.
No, or way earlier.
It's got to be like 600s
like 600.
or something.
Okay, well, I'm about to go to, 600 BC? When did Troy happen?
Troy is even longer ago.
Yeah, so we're turning back the clock even more. I played Total War. a Total War Saga Troy, which is a terrible naming convention.
It is.
It's
yeah.
not. Oh, did you play the new Total War? No, just call it. The new Total War is all right.
Okay.
I played 50 turns on easy.
That's quite a bit.
Just because when you say that you're new to the series, and I'm not new to the series. I played Total War Medieval 2.
Okay.
But nothing since.
And that was a long time ago.
Long time ago. That ran on the Dell computer laptop that they had.
Gotcha.
And by they, I mean my parents. It became fun after a while. Initially, it was not super fun. So this is a game, right, where your generals are big men that stand in a region, and they represent the army, and they walk in between cities, and they conquer stuff. And when you simulate the battles, you zoom way in on like the bush level.
Right.
And you fight it out with actual manpower.
So there's a turn-based overworld where you have the macro level army movements, and then whenever a fight breaks out, you zoom in on a micro level and fight a real-time battle.
Yes. The real-time battles, I got a feel for them. Initially, some of my guys were just routing, and I couldn't really handle it. But I got better. I don't look forward to combat, though.
I don't look forward to combat as much as I should in this game.
What do you mean by that?
Just in Total War in general. Real-time strategy, I guess, never fully clicked for me. It feels kind of messy. I never feel like I'm clearly making the optimal move right now. I never feel that sensation. It's always like, hey, I think this is kind of working until I realize it's not. And by then, it's usually, I'm taking like severe losses. Because it's a complex system, right? It takes into everything from account whether you're charging up a hill or down a hill, and the stamina of your troops, and what position you lock them in, because you can have them equip shields and then they'll be resistant to archers or
missile.
Yeah, you can like have them literally like spread out further apart, so then when the arrows fall, your troops won't be as densely packed and they'll take fewer losses. Even things like momentum and how fast you crash into the enemy will have like a statistical benefit. And there's no way I've ever been able to keep track of all that in a Total War battle. However, everything else around it, like the unit diversity of which you can build out these entire army rosters, which are very diverse, and the overworld turn-based stuff, I love all of that. I just wish I could get the same satisfaction out of the minute-to-minute combat as I do in a turn-based game like Into the Breach, where I know I'm making a very good move. And this, it's all fuzzy in a Total War battle. I never know if I'm actually playing optimally or not. All right, you jump back in here.
We are of exactly the same mind. I link it back to Civilization, where I love the turn-based building up of your economy and your engine and navigating diplomacy and finding efficiencies in your growth and production. And then when it comes to the combat, I would much rather do like a pacifist run of Total War Saga Troy. I fought like 4 or 5 battles, and then I auto-resolve the rest. Because it projects how your battles will go, and it was like a Cadmean victory. A Cadmean referring to Cadmus, who was a Greek hero probably, and to be Cadmean means at a cost of your life, basically.
So it's like a Pyrrhic victory?
Yeah, but Pyrrhic would probably be better than Cadmean.
Oh, this is even worse.
Cadmean is pretty heavy losses.
Cadmean is Pyrrhic on steroids.
I guess. Don't quote me on that.
Okay.
I'm interested in that wordplay enough to look it up afterward. Yeah, you said it's very messy. My first thought was like, is friendly fire not a thing?
Oh, it's a thing.
Okay, so my slingers are pelting my own guys.
Right. And then, so clearly, like, a great deal of thought was put into the combat mechanics when even, like, the arc of your projectiles that you're firing, be it, I've mostly played the Warhammer versions of this series, so, like, archers have an arc to the arrow, while a rifleman, it's a straight line. So you have to factor that in so you don't end up shooting your own troops. So It's like a very complex simulation, but I guess to the game's credit, if I was directing a real battle, it would be a horribly messy, unclear series of events.
Yeah, you get to the realism is true to life, I guess. But it falls in that uncanny valley of I'm not enjoying this despite how spreadsheet accurate this simulation is.
That's a good way of putting it.
But I liked the city management. I figured it out eventually. I like how you can manage your provinces and worship certain gods to give you bonuses, and you got to keep your heroes motivated. The one thing I didn't like was diplomacy, and you haven't played this game yet.
I have not, but I imagine diplomacy functions similar to other titles. Why don't you fill me in?
I don't think so. It's so irritating.
Okay.
Every turn, people will ask you for wood for nothing in return.
Just give me wood?
They'll just demand, because the currencies in this game are like food, wood, stone, gold, stuff. And Pylor will be like, it has come to settle our differences, but he'll just be asking for like 1,500 wood with and nothing, and I'll decline it, and it'll say like our relation worsened like a smidge. The repercussions I found was Sparta didn't join in my war against the Corinthians. Maybe they might have if I gave them 1,000 wood 3 turns ago, but it's like I played 50 turns. I would say at the end of 40 of those turns, you get people being like, give us food, give us wood. I mean, same thing with Civilization. I'm declining these AI proposals left and right. Some of the proposals were so in my favor.
Oh.
Yeah. It would be like, we'll do a peace treaty and we will give you our stone and gold and bronze. And I'm just like, thanks. I didn't even know we were at war. I managed to broker one deal, but the rest had to be proposed by the AI. Partly because when I would go to the negotiations page, I can't back out to the nations list. I'm talking to Athens. Athens has a -50 modifier for this non-aggression pact. They don't want it.
Right.
You could sweeten the deal by giving them your wood and your bronze, but it's way too much. Okay, let's see what Argos wants to trade. I have to close negotiations with Athens, bring up the diplomacy thing again, click on Argos. They also have a -60 modifier on this. I can't go back to the nations list. All right, close diplomacy, open back up. Like, it's so cumbersome. I don't know why. Because the UI is pretty straightforward. I'm pretty sure that's just horribly designed.
This sounds
you
like
need to tell me, being the Total War expert.
Sure. Yeah, this sounds like a bit of a regression to the diplomacy, because diplomacy is a highlight for me when I've played these games. I don't remember AI nations bugging me all the time for resources. I don't think resources were even something you could explicitly trade in other Total War games. I think you could have your nation could have access to a resource, and then you could just negotiate a trading agreement with someone, and then it would kind of just handle all the nitty-gritty details behind the scenes.
I mean, don't think that it's one note. There's still defensive alliances, vassalage.
Yeah, all of that has always been present.
And the resource currencies are pretty good because all of your units cost food. You got to keep them fed.
That is new to this game.
Okay. And I like that. And gold is only really used for religious offerings and super duper late game enemy soldiers.
Previously, gold is kind of like, it's the universal currency. It does everything.
Nah, you're never touching gold.
Interesting.
So I enjoyed the game. Unless my 50 turns were just so introductory that I don't really understand the game yet. Maybe I'll boot it up on normal. But unless I'm feeling like a super specific type of way, I'm auto-resolving all the combat.
I, too, frequently used auto-resolve. My approach was, if it's heavily lopsided in my favor, immediately auto-resolve. To play out that battle would just be a waste of time. When it's closer to parity, when it's like an even balance of power, that's where I dive in and play it manually. Because auto-resolving will dock you a little bit. Like, it shouldn't...
You'll never win a battle as hard as if you've done it manually.
Exactly. And then if it's heavily lopsided in their favor, I'm probably just running away.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, also, priestesses. Very difficult to use. That UI is awful because it lists the things that they can do in the left, but then you have to pick a target. It feels like an excessive number of clicks to be like, bless this army. Somebody who's a Total War expert, please tell me that I'm getting this all wrong. But otherwise, it's discouraging me from jumping back in. And I know you probably want me to jump back in and tell you, yo, the Phoenicians are busted. But that's all I got to say about it.
Actually, I won't put any pressure on you to jump back in just because you mentioned at the beginning, this is a Total War Saga game, which, believe it or not, is a sub-franchise of Total War. So there have been 2 Total War Saga games. This is the second one. The first was Britannia. They've not reviewed the best compared to mainline entries.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think you've already gleaned all there is to appreciate from this game, I would imagine.
And you know what I'm slightly more interested in now after playing Total War Saga, Troy?
What?
Crusader Kings 3!
Yeah, I'm excited for that, to try that game as well.
That game looks like all the fun diplomacy and none of the battlefield real-time.
Right. I don't think there is any real-time combat. I've heard it's grand strategy game meets The Sims because it's just so personal. Like,
oh, the royal family. Yeah.
Shepherding your lineage of royals.
My prince is stuck with the shyness personality trait. We got to fix that.
Right.
Have him marry this Hungarian broad.
I guess it's also a bit of a breeding simulator, isn't it?
Yo, one of the first Crusader Kings 3 videos I watched was like making the most inbred. I don't remember the name of the YouTube channel, but there's no shortage of YouTube videos where like commentators will be like, so my ex-wife, cousin, sister has decided to betroth my brother, uncle.
It's funny. So you reached for the inbred video. I went for like making a lineage of total chads, and they're all like giant geniuses.
I think I saw that too. That's funny. What is with that game? But that's not this game.
No.
This is Total War Saga Troy, and that's all I played this week.
All right. That was a good week. I guess good 4 days.
Good 4 days.
So we can take a break now, and when we come back, we've got some hard-hitting news for you. See you then. And we're back. So, Heath, we have no more waiting to do. We have all the details of the next generation of consoles.
Yes, pitch it to me. Yeah, which one?
All right,
which one am I buying?
So just yesterday, Sony finally revealed, after a long wait, the price and release date of the PlayStation 5. They're releasing right next to the Xbox, just 2 days later. So it's November 12th is the release date of the PlayStation 5. Pre-orders, I think they were supposed to go live this morning, but then some retailers started doing it late yesterday, which chaos ensued because suddenly stocks were already sold out before people realized there was an opportunity to buy it. I had a coworker who was pissed. Anyway, so they're coming out the same week Xbox is.
The digital version of the PS5 is priced to move.
It is. So digital is $400, and then the one that includes the disc drive is $500. Which is exactly the same as the Xbox Series X. And yeah, you said it's priced to move. How do you feel about these prices, Heath?
I think that the discless version of the PS5 has practically boxed out the Series X. I feel like parents, and it always boils down to parents for me, right?
You immediately mention the parents every time.
Because that's who's buying consoles, I feel. Unless there's just an equally overwhelming number of your coworkers who aren't big into PC gaming and are on the console market.
I might push back against that idea a little bit, just because I would assume kids who get a console on launch day from their parents, that sounds kind of spoiled to me. My parents were never buying me the console the day it came out.
No, I'm not saying launch day.
Okay.
No, who launch day? I'm talking about like holiday.
Holiday.
Because, yeah, what are you getting for Christmas?
Which is only a month later.
Yeah. The point being, like, when you're looking at what's available, There's the Series S because it's the cheapest, and then there's the PS5 that's $100 more.
Yep.
And $100 more is not prohibitively expensive if you're already considering maybe just the Series S. I think putting it at $400 is very appealing compared to the $500 boyos.
Right. There's like this cascading undercutting that's going on. The Series X just got undercut by the digital PlayStation 5. The digital PlayStation 5 just got undercut by the Series S.
Yeah.
But I guess to Sony's credit here, to some extent, the Series S is kind of like a compromised machine in the sense that it does not have the same internals of the Series X.
Right.
You could call it like a diet next gen. While for all intents and purposes, the digital PlayStation 5 is the same machine as the physical PlayStation 5, it just doesn't have a disk drive. But otherwise, they're going to be running games exactly the same way. And I wonder, I guess it just comes down to how much do people care about that?
Right.
And I don't have the answer to that. Historically, actually, the more powerful box has sold worse in the generation it was competing in. If we look back, the PS4 versus Xbox One is kind of the first example I think of that bucked that trend because the PlayStation 4 initially was a little bit more powerful than the Xbox One, and it did sell more. But then we look back last gen, Xbox 360 and PS3, way more powerful than the Wii. The Wii beat them both. Then back behind that was original Xbox and the GameCube. PS2 ate everyone's lunch. The original Xbox is more powerful. We could go back further. The trend still holds. So usually power actually isn't what wins. It's usually a combination of price and exclusives. And the Series S is the best price, but it's also the most compromised on power. This is the greatest extent we've ever seen that power differential, right? It's not even running games at the 4K resolution. It's targeting 1440p. But how much will your average consumer care? I don't know. I guess we're going to find out. Do you have anything to say about any of that?
No, I already gave my predictions, and it seems my predictions change every episode, right? Last episode, I was like, wow, look at all the services that Microsoft's bundling with their products. They're going to totally sweep. And then I'm like, oh, wait, the PS5 is $400 at the cheapest variety? That's going to sweep. Everything sweeps.
I was surprised they got the price down to $400. My bet was $450.
Right.
Because a disk drive isn't $100 to manufacture, especially if you're doing it at scale, like PlayStation is doing.
Right.
They presumably get like a discount since they're making
bulk.
so many.
Yeah.
So I was having a conversation with Mobius Tunes listener Nathan. He brought up a very salient point to me. PlayStation, they probably really want you to buy the all-digital edition of their console that doesn't have a disk drive because then you are completely locked into their ecosystem, right? You can never, ever buy a used video game.
Retail, okay.
You can never lend a game to a friend. The middlemen never get a cut of your proceeds. Like GameStop never gets their cut. You buy every single game for that console for its entire life directly from Sony on their digital monopoly of a storefront.
And that's in their pocket, yeah.
And I think they're probably taking a loss on selling you the $400 PS5, but they're going to make it up on the back end over the life of this console because all of your money is going directly to pop a PlayStation.
That's right.
So I think that makes a lot of sense to me. So that was a surprise. They got the price that low. They strengthened their services a little bit. There was a small announcement in there. You know what PlayStation Plus is, right?
That's that Xbox Live.
Yeah, it's equivalent to Xbox Live Gold. You pay and it lets you play online, and they give you free games every once in a while. They announced this thing called PlayStation Plus Collection, which will be
their Game Pass now?
I guess you could call it a Game Pass competitor to some extent. It's going to be an added value to PlayStation Plus subscribers. It's going to be present at the launch of the PS5. It gives you this automatic collection. It's nowhere near as big as Game Pass.
Is it like God of War?
It is.
Infinite Prototype.
It's kind of what you would want from your PlayStation lineup of exclusives. So they've got the heavy hitters. They got God of War. They give you Bloodborne. They give you Persona 5, Uncharted 4,
Oh, wow.
Ratchet and Clank, Detroit Become Human, even older PS4 exclusives like Infamous Second Son. And there's a smattering of third-party support in here too, like Fallout 4 and Battlefield 1. So I'm looking at the list. I'm counting 19 games here, which is dwarfed by you get like hundreds on Game Pass. But if this doesn't involve like a price hike, thanks for throwing us a bone, Sony, right? They're not on the level of Microsoft's services, but they're trying to compete to some extent.
It's piquing my interest for sure.
Right.
I haven't played half of those games.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them were PlayStation exclusive, and you don't have a PlayStation, so that makes
I've
sense.
never owned a Sony anything. That's not true. There's a camera right there.
So hypothetically, this would be appealing to new Sony fans, right? I just got a new PS5 console.
It's appealing to me, yeah.
I subscribe to Play Online, and I basically have the PS4's library right there waiting for me.
Thanks, Papa PlayStation.
Yeah. So I tip my hat to Sony for that. And then I guess the other little surprises in the rest of this show for me were game announcements. Did you hear about any of the game announcements, Heath?
Spider-Man?
Yeah, I mean, they showed more Miles Morales, but we knew about that.
Yeah.
3 in particular caught my eye. This is brief, but Final Fantasy 16 got announced.
Woo! More car driving?
No cars in sight. This
Okay.
looks more fantasy than the previous one.
Okay.
And I'm assuming this is years away just because Square Enix takes so long. But hey, it looked like more Final Fantasy. We haven't had a mainline Final Fantasies. They don't come out very often anymore.
What about that remake?
Yeah, I guess you could call
What about
that.
the car one?
That was like 4 years ago.
Okay, sure. For some reason, it's like immediately I remember it.
Sure.
It takes up like a weird front row seat
In your mind.
for whatever reason. Yeah.
Neither of us are really Final Fantasy fans here, so we don't have to dwell.
Cup noodle.
The food in Final Fantasy 15 was rendered very lovingly.
Yeah, because it's Japan.
Yeah,
Japan loves food.
They do. It's the same way in the Yakuza games.
Same way in Deadly Premonition.
Oh, okay. Just rattling off. This could be a whole segment. Really high definition food. Moving on. There's a AAA Harry Potter game coming out.
Ooh, we've heard of this.
Yeah, we have. This game leaked prior to Mobius Tunes existing.
What a metric.
It was like 2018, early 2018.
Yes.
And they've only finally just announced this game and shown it.
Okay.
It looks ambitious.
Is it a third person?
It is a third person.
Is it a crosshair?
Unsure.
Okay.
But like, it looks like it's narrative heavy. There are like cutscenes showing. It's called Hogwarts Legacy. I think it's set in like the 1800s. So that predates the Harry Potter we know.
It also predates Harry Potter, period. Sorry.
Aren't there like the Fantastical Beasts set a long time ago?
Fantastic Beasts Crimes of Grindelwald took place during World War I.
Okay, so that's not quite 1800s, but it's getting there.
At the most it's 14 years. JK is not involved
Unsure. I have no idea.
because the internet hates
They
her.
do hate her. Yeah, maybe they just kept wanting to announce this game, but then she lets another tweet into the wild, and they're like, okay,
Yeah.
better wait for that one to cool down.
Sorry, J.K. Rowling, for people who aren't familiar with Harry Potter, which is laughable in modern times.
Sure, but neither of us are super big Harry Potter fans, are we?
I watched 3 of them.
Okay, that's less than half, so I'm going to go on the record and say you're not a big fan.
Yeah.
I have not watched them all. I read all but the last,
Okay.
if you can believe that. But the game has me hyped. It looks really good. I think it's coming next year.
Cool.
And then the thing they ended this presentation on, it wasn't even a trailer. It was basically just a logo. The sequel to God of War is coming
Already.
And they put a year on it. Next year, 2021.
That's, wow.
Which I am doubtful of.
Uh-huh.
Just because it wasn't that long ago they did the other one. It was a 2018 game. And already, for just 3 years, that seems optimistic to me. But if we take it at face value, that would mean next year we're getting a Horizon 2 and a God of War 2 on PlayStation.
That's a lot of value.
That's a lot.
They got to treat their God of War like Grand Theft Auto.
Oh, space it out more?
Space way out.
Yeah.
Was there Grand Theft Auto in this showcase?
There was not.
Really? Because that's
That's what they opened the other one
you
with.
can't not showcase it. Okay. Do we pull into speculation station?
I'll just end with saying they showed Demon Souls gameplay. It looked really pretty. Okay, now we can speculate.
On God of War.
Sure, on God of War.
Okay. It's got to be a direct sequel.
Oh, yeah. There's not a chance it's not. I mean, that game ends on a big cliffhanger.
Okay. You play as Kratos.
Yeah, you should be playing as Kratos.
But they for sure have John Marston in their pocket.
Oh.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Explain what I mean. That's what this show is.
You're saying, will you play as Kratos' son, Atreus, in the sequel?
After Kratos gets killed.
I think they might save that for the end of the trilogy.
You know how Hitman's got a barcode on his head?
Yeah.
Kratos has got an expiration date, and it's the year this game comes out.
So there's a lot they still need to explore in this trilogy of games. They have barely even shown other members of the Norse mythology. Like the gods you would think of have not been featured yet.
And besides, we're not talking Norse for this game. Okay, big spoilers for God of War 2016. When did this came out? Thank you. They raid whatever's his name's Treasure, whoever's Treasure, right? And that's where Kratos is. He's looking at all there's treasures from all over. Like Egypt and Japan and places like that.
Oh.
And there's Greek pottery in there. And Kratos sees himself on the pottery being like an
real
asshole.
Angry,
So, we got to change pantheons. You
No
have
way.
to change pantheons.
This is totally going to be Norse. What are you talking about?
It may start, like, Act 1 will be Norse.
Oh, okay.
Because we got to touch Thor. Or maybe Thor comes in at the end and it's like they had an off-camera battle and now they're friends. That'd be cool. Or like a flashback battle. But no, we got to change pantheons. Got to change pantheons.
You think it's time for like the Egyptian gods or something?
They literally rode an elevator to the cliffhanger, and on the elevator walls was like, oh, Egypt, China, Persia.
I don't think so.
I'm for certain.
They explored the Greek mythology for 3 mainline games and several spin-offs. I don't think you just give Norse mythology one game and call it a day.
You don't, but Chris, are you a wrestling fan?
No.
You're familiar with WrestleMania, though. That's WWE's Super Bowl product.
In name only.
Okay. In anticipation of WrestleMania, during their regularly televised programming, certain wrestlers will point to a literal sign that's just a big WrestleMania. And the pointing of the sign is the most promotional thing that they have going. This is Kratos pointing to the WrestleMania sign, except it says new culture.
So do you think
Japan?
Do you think it's going to be now mythology mashup, or each new installment is going to just quickly cover a new mythology?
I'm saying that the new God of War game is going to take place in whatever. I think it was Egypt, Japan, and then Mesoamerica.
Okay.
That will be 80% of the game. Tie up some loose ends in Norse, but that is flavor gods. You sprinkle the Norse mythology on the seasoning that is the main entree of Aztec god, Egyptian god. Pick one.
The Chris prediction is God of War, the
this
sequel,
is Norse
will
again.
be 95% or more Norse mythology.
We already killed the world serpent. We already Mimir'd and Baldur and other names.
We haven't even seen Thor or Odin.
We saw his pocket.
I guess.
You looked at Thor. And Odin is just Zeus too. You don't do that. Zeus showed up in 2018.
He did.
Much in the way that Thor's gonna show up in 2021.
All right, I guess we'll just agree to disagree on this one.
I've never played a God of War game. I am certain of this.
Okay. We will see.
Because where is Thor gonna die? It's not gonna be in Norristown. He's gonna die on the steps of the pyramid. There's no steps.
To be fair, I like your idea. I
Mm-hmm.
think that would be awesome. But I think they're going to just double down on Norse.
I think flash forward and boy is already adolescent or like post at like he's young adult, he can vote. And we are clashing with Anubis. Flash back to when he's an adolescent and we are training some more. Because what age is boy?
He's like
I keep calling
12-ish.
him boy. His name's Atreus. Yeah,
Yeah.
Atreus is 12. We are going to start 2021. He can vote,
Okay.
but then flash back to when he can drive,
Okay.
and that's when it's like we're dealing with like puberty Atreus, who's like, I don't wanna, and he picks up smoking, and Thor gets him into smoking, and Kratos has got to be like, no boy, no angsty teen. Anyway, we'll end it there.
All right. So that was the PlayStation 5 big blowout.
Watch me be watch the cover art for God of War 2, and I'm calling it God of War 2. Watch the cover art be a Viking helmet.
Wait a minute. This just like invalidates our entire conversation.
What?
They showed a subtitle. They showed a catchphrase for the game. It said Ragnarok is coming.
Ah.
Yeah, this game's going to be about Ragnarok, Heath. That, little thing in the Norse mythology.
You know who's getting Ragnaroked? Anubis. I was going to insert God name. All right, moving on.
All right. Never have we predicted
We've already done. Oh, this is so bad. Okay.
Never has a prediction segment so quickly become outdated.
Upended, yeah. That was Ever Brown content.
Ever Brown. All right, I don't have any more news. I don't
good.
think.
Thank God it's my turn for news. All right. Fall Guys. Cheater Island. So, Chris, you've watched some Fall Guys recently, right?
I wouldn't say I've watched it, but
Okay.
I've heard of it.
You know what it looks like, though.
Yeah, definitely.
Your little Pillsbury Doughboy character running up the Fall Guys mountain to get to the crown, and then you'll see one of your competitors fly up to the skybox and ragdoll into the crown in a half of a second, and they'll win the game. That's cheating in Fall Guys.
Okay.
They break the physical limitations of the game. And there have been clips where as soon as it's like 3, 2, 1, go, and then all of the players, like bees, they'll rush to the crown and physics collision with it until one of them wins. And it's like, lol, 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 look at all these cheaters. Now, Fall Guys commented on this. They were like, we can't be certain, but this might be a clip of Cheater Island. Now, what's Cheater Island? Traditionally, if you cheat in a video game, the system will detect it and you'll be banned from logging in a certain amount of time, maybe. They instituted where if you cheat in Fall Guys, you will only get paired up in matches with fellow cheaters.
Nice.
And have your game ruined by them.
Yeah.
And this is a big win for everyone. So the story goes that initially they wanted to make sure that their cheat system was good and make sure that there were no false positives, that everyone who got labeled as a cheater was one and that no innocent people fell victim to it. After confirming the detection worked, the studio launched the Cheater Island, which was a magical place where cheaters could happily compete against themselves for the cheater's crown. Initially, Fall Guys, the lobby is like 40 to 60 players, and they didn't have that many cheaters to populate that lobby.
Okay.
Until like last week.
Oh.
And it went into effect, and the tricky thing with cheaters, you can't tell cheaters that they're degenerates unless they'll try to like work around it. People have already been trying to work around it by doing like family sharing. That was a workaround. And then joining your friends' games, that would rescue you from Cheater Island.
Oh, okay.
But they continued to lower the threshold until they had enough people to populate the Cheater Island servers. And they didn't go public with it until somebody posted a clip of this. So this is good, right? Fall Guys is getting updated. They're getting updated with a big hammer called Big Yeetus, which will randomly appear on the course and maybe knock you closer to the finish line or knock you so far off course. And then they're also getting help from Epic's anti-cheat.
Okay.
Chris, your thoughts? You're happy about this implementation, right?
Sure. I always enjoy when the game devs, people have been trying to break like game piracy. I guess there's a distinction there. People have been pirating games, which is bad for a long time. People have also been cheating in online multiplayer games. And I like it when the devs find a creative way to punish them instead of just locking them out of it. For example, I think in like the original Spyro the Dragon games on the PlayStation 1, if the system detected like a pirated copy, it would keep letting you play. But as you got further along, it would keep making you have a more and more unpleasant experience. Like those are collectathon games, and it would randomly delete collectibles you had already found from your progress bar.
That's great.
As you went along, and it would ensure that you could never get 100%.
Yeah.
There was like one gem missing that you would never find, and it would delete progress. And it was supposed to be as hellish as possible if it figured out you had a pirated copy. This feels similar to that in spirit, and I really appreciate that. Just clarify for me, Heath, is the punishment just that you are now subject to playing with a bunch of dirty cheaters who will tarnish your experience? Or is the island actually made like that clip you showed me? Is the island like incomplete, buggy island?
No, the game, because Fall Guys is just a series of courses.
Yeah.
The courses that remains the same. The island is not a physical place. It's the game. It's the game, but it's at the mercy of whatever hacks that the players have incorporated.
Gotcha.
So those are the only lobbies you're able to queue in if the system marks you as having cheated.
So your punishment is just the company of other cheaters.
Yeah.
This feels like
Taste of your own medicine.
This feels like this server is the Olympics, but everyone has access
is on
to drugs.
Performance-enhancing drugs.
It's like the ultimate libertarian Olympics.
Yeah, very good analogy. Something with your Spyro pirated story, Batman Arkham Asylum did that initially as well, where if you pirated the game and people were complaining like, help, the game keeps telling me to go to this certain area and the grapple hook, it won't let me grapple up to where I need to go. And it's like, well, because you pirated the game, loser. It sucks to be you.
Yeah.
But so many people pirated the game that it generated this rumor that Arkham Asylum was a buggy game. Although it wasn't buggy, it was just these pirated copies would be broken.
Right.
So it was like a weird twist of fate.
Huh. I never heard that story.
Yeah. I heard that on Castle Super Beast. So this Fall Guys doing God's work with these creative anti-cheat mechanics. Next news. Chris Evans's penis. Chris,
excuse me.
Have you seen Chris Evans's penis?
I have not.
Okay.
Care to show me?
No. So on Instagram, Chris Evans was going through his camera roll, and there happened to be an indecent photo amongst it, as well as like a very weird meme template from his early acting days that said, "Guard that pussy."
Okay.
Which is just a funny thing. But this blurred out image is his Avenger, and all of his fellow cast members were being like, you go, and making the most of it. Chris made the most of it by saying, now that I have your attention, vote on November 3rd. Like it was like a suffrage. He turned it into a positive.
Okay.
Asking people to go vote. And all of these funny celebrities were like, oh, got my attention, including Jamie Lee Curtis, who you know from Freaky Friday or the Halloween movies.
Okay. Yeah,
like
yeah.
Original Halloween. You might not have expected it because she's a 61-year-old actress. She's huge into video games.
Is she?
She would take her son to Street Fighter tournaments when he was in high school and would cosplay as Vega at cons.
Whoa.
She would go to Evo disguised as a Street Fighter Vega because her son was huge as a high school graduation present.
I was waiting for you to tie this story into video games.
Yeah, so when we think of cool celebrities who aren't in the video game space but are big, huge gamers, your favorite is Henry Cavill.
Sure,
And Jamie Lee Curtis is inducted into that gang.
Awesome.
So
Glad
cool.
to have her.
Yeah. So I only remembered that because of Chris Evans' penis, but...
Sometimes life takes you down strange trails.
That's my news.
All right. It was definitely a packed news week.
Well, we're balancing it very well. We just did 40 minutes of our week, and then we did 40 minutes of our week and 40 minutes of news.
All right, and we'll end with 40 minutes of music.
Probably, yeah.
So we'll take another break, and when we come back, it'll be the 8th volume of Mobius Tunes. We'll see you then. And we're back.
For those of you who don't know, Mobius Tunes is a music guessing game where we each come with 5 songs, and the opponent has to guess from which game those songs originated. Chris has 4 games to my 3. I'm sorry.
The record.
The ambiguity of the word game was...
we use that word a lot on this show.
Yeah.
We've played this competition 7 times so far. I'm up, but only slightly. I've won 4 to Heath's 3.
This is my chance to tie it up.
Right.
Will I be tying it up this round, Chris?
You stand much less of a chance than last time.
Because last time
was a blowout.
I got the first perfect score in Mobius Tunes history.
Right. The maximum score you can achieve is 15 points. You would earn that if you know all 5 songs right off the bat without need of any hints or assistance. So, Heath, this time, which of us should be in the guessing chair first?
Oh, I'm guessing first.
All right. You like to take on that role, don't you?
I'm not super proud of my theme.
Okay. Well, I too had a theme this time.
Mm-hmm.
This is episode 50. It's like a celebratory time, right? We've got new consoles on the horizon. And for that reason, I needed to bring us down with this theme. My theme is
sad songs.
Sad songs. Some of which you should be able to get. Others will be harder. Why don't we jump right in?
All right. Chris's song number 1. Is that good volume?
Yeah.
I know what it is.
Already?
I know what it is. This is... Yes! All right. What would you say your theme was? Like downer songs?
Yeah, sad, melancholy songs.
Okay. Absolutely. You never want to hear this song.
It's a very reflective moment when you start hearing this song.
It is, and it is the most patient hurry up tone ever.
Right.
You think of like alarm clocks, you think of like Mario where it's like da 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 da. This is Outer Wilds is Say Goodbye 'Cause of the Supernova, which is about like, and I have a hard time thinking when it's gonna end because it's so smooth and
right. I think the song's called End Times. You knew what this was in the opening 2 seconds before we even really hear a note. I was impressed, let me tell you.
Thank you. That's 3 points for me. I guess it's just because like I die a lot, and I can't hear this song end without hearing like the of the sun collapsing. Oh. I guess it does do that.
Oh yeah. Right, and now I'm starting to look at that slideshow flashback.
I never really hear that THX ending, Ben. You know what I mean by that, right?
Oh yeah.
The THX like
on like the videos.
Yeah.
Old videos.
3 points for me. What were your hints gonna be?
I didn't prepare hints for that one. I anticipated you'd get it.
Fair enough.
And boy, did you.
I crushed it. Great. Song number 2. I know this too.
Holy cow. You know this one?
Man, no, I was too cocky. I thought I did. You know what I thought it was? You know what I thought it was? I thought it was like Interstellar. Neil YMCA. Like,
Oh,
very similar.
That was similar.
This is Interstellar's, no. This is is this Inception? Anyway, back to the game. Oh, that is very Inception. Wow.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Are you just... Whoever composed this song is eating Hans Zimmer's lunch. Yeah, it's like the dum. It's the same chord, maybe. But I'm actually getting pissed off.
It is close to... You have very good analogies to this song.
This is gonna be a guess.
This is gonna be a big guess. You haven't had to do one of those in a while.
I mean, my guess is going to be, maybe like Mass Effect 3. Very cinematic, bad ending theme.
Sure, emotional. Heath, this game is Mass Effect 3.
Are you shitting me?
The song is called Leaving Earth.
I'm a god.
Holy cow.
I'm a god. That was a guess.
That was correct.
I didn't cheat.
No, you didn't.
When you stepped off so I could come up with more song names, I didn't cheat.
All right, I take your word for it.
Maybe it did eat Interstellar's lunch.
Oh, space themed.
When did Mass Effect 3 come out?
Like March 2012.
You know this. Okay. Well, no, that predates Inception, right?
Inception was earlier.
Oh, okay. No, it did steal Inception. And I only won through virtue of... Well, it's because it was on the path of space. I didn't cheat.
I believe you.
Okay, because you were skeptical of me scoring points, but I'm off to 6 already.
You're doing well. Very well.
Let's see how I do with the third song.
You bet.
Is the difficulty ramping up now?
I would think so, but you've proven me wrong.
Ooh. Non-English vocals. We're immediately taken to Banner Saga, but it's not gonna have that. It's like an indie game, right?
Yeah, I think they have about 13 people working on the Banner Saga games.
This is a Scandinavian language.
Men chanting.
And that's I mean, if we know anything about Chris, if the fans know anything about Chris, is he is gaga for CD Projekt. And this is sounding eerily similar to the other Witcher 3 song that you played for me, like way back with like the accordion, and I thought it was...
Oh, the Champs de Soleil.
Yeah, yeah. So this is giving me big Champs energy.
Yeah?
We're gonna... What was that? Why is there like a monologue happening in the background?
There's like echoing vocals.
Yeah, someone is beneath an underpass as this song is playing. I mean, I'd be remiss if I didn't go with Witcher 2.
Witcher 2, Assassins of Kings?
Yeah, this sounds like we're assassinating some kings. This sounds like a king got assassinated, yeah.
Okay.
Because you've already done Witcher 3.
I have. A very good guess, Heath, but you did get that one incorrect.
All right, fair enough.
For my first hint for you, much like the previous game I just selected, Mass Effect 3, this song is also from a game series that lets you import your save to future installments. You know, carryover decisions and things of that nature.
I'm pretty sure Banner Saga did. I want to say like Banner Saga, Baldur's Gate, other games start with a B. much like Mass Effect, this game does your saves. Which games do your saves? Episodic. Trilogy, even. I mean, surely, like The Witcher doesn't do that.
It does it to some extent.
Well, I had to answer for.
You can. That is the substitute if you don't import your save.
Okay. Well, if it was like Witcher 1, you would have pivoted the hint, maybe.
Yeah.
And also, it wouldn't be the first game for a hint like that. It's got to be like a second game.
I wouldn't exclude first game.
Chris. So the series allows you.
The series allows you to.
Okay. Thank you for bracing my fall there. What a good game am I? Ay, Chris. I'm gonna do Banner Saga 3.
Okay, you're gonna say the Banner Saga 3.
Yeah. Because the setting is right. But the hint is right.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I regret to tell you, Heath, the Banner Saga 3 is not the game this song is from. For the final hint, this is a tactical turn-based RPG that looks very Norse-inspired. I told you not to exclude the first game.
You did. Banner Saga 1.
This is from the Banner Saga 1.
I was on the pulse.
The first words out of your mouth when this song played was Banner Saga.
I'm so well, okay, I made up for it, I guess, with the Mass Effect 3s. So damn it. Oh, trust your gut, people. That's all I'm saying.
So you picked up a point there.
Wow.
And you're at 7 total.
Dang it, Chris. Oh, trust your gut. I read you like a book too. All right, I want to get back on the swing of things with song number 4. And I'm going to trust my gut. That's gotten me this far. Song number 4. I know this too.
You figured out the game?
We're seconds away.
Gotcha.
These are all like credit sequences too.
I wouldn't say that about this one.
Okay, it's just gotta give me like a little bit more. We were heading for Supergiant. Wow, yeah. I mean, this is whatever her name was. She is your favorite artist.
The vocalist?
Yeah. This isn't in Kirkles, but it's gotta be close. Unless you're throwing me for a loop with like, it's Hades, because it just came out. This is Transistor.
Yeah, another game that does feature women's vocals very prominently. Not Transistor.
Damn.
I've already included Transistor.
I know, but you've already included every Supergiant game.
Okay, first hint. When you boot this game up for the first time, it strongly suggests that you wear headphones to get the intended experience.
No! It's Senua's Sacrifice.
It sure is.
Oh, you pranked me.
I pranked you.
You pranked me like you did with Bayonetta? Is that what other games did I mention? And I neglected to say what it was. I thought it was Bayonetta.
That could be. I think way back when you were like mentioning Danganronpa and then never guessed Danganronpa.
Like as soon as why is Senua jamming to like nightclubbing, like lo-fi?
This is the Hella Fight song.
Oh, you're right. That was awesome. Oh my God, I mentioned this song specifically. Wow.
Very memorable song, I guess.
Oh, leave me alone. I was focusing on the combat.
Sure, yeah. Actually, to your credit, Heath, when I went back after finishing the game to look up this song and I listened to it, I was like, oh, this was what the song was?
So out of place.
Right. It is an important part of that final boss experience, but it's not the part that sticks with you, I don't think.
but it's great.
It is great.
Dang, this is a hard-hitting game of Mobius Tunes. This is a good song. It's long.
It is. So you picked up another 2 points, and you're at 9 total. So you're not doing bad at all.
I'm not. I fell in 2 pitfalls, but watch me super clear this last song.
Heath, I'll give you a standing ovation if you get this one first
try. If I get
try.
this one first try, all right. I've defied the odds before. Pass me that peace pipe, brother. Did we just come back from the hunt? Yeah. Wah, la, 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 wah, wah. If I'm daring, I would go with like Horizon Zero Dawn.
Okay.
Because that's like indigenous. But maybe there's more to be gleaned from that yodel session? Probably not. It became too desolate to be Horizon Zero Dawn.
I mean, Horizon Zero Dawn is a post-apocalyptic game.
Oh, yeah, but it's more of like a welcome to the jungle, run with the Triceratops.
Gotcha.
This, like, we just put on 10-gallon hats with when this violin came in.
I wouldn't go there, but if you do, so be it.
Still, yodeling is very Scots Highlander. In these songs, Chris, you like them. You don't listen to them.
Of the songs I've played,
mood,
this one I like the least probably.
Okay.
But I need it. It fit the theme, it goes. And I like the game it's from.
Of course, that goes without question. Okay, all right. Let's dim it out and make a guess. This game is from. You heard me right. This song is from. Plague Tale: Innocence.
Good guess. No, it's not Plague Tale.
I didn't think it didn't fit anything, but I just wanted. Whatever. Give me a hint.
All right. The game director for this game is Joseph Ferris, who we know as the Oscars guy from the Game Awards.
No.
He's the game director on this.
Oh, he made A Way Out and what else? What else did he get nominated for?
Yeah.
So long ago.
Unless this is A Way Out.
What, the yodeling session was between those two, like,
convicts?
hardened, I think, like, Italian Americans? Oh, Chris. A Way Out. And he also made what else? What else came out that year that was nominated? I don't remember. It was so long ago. Horizon Zero Dawn.
This music would be right at home in Horizon Zero Dawn, actually.
Okay. So,
but it is not Horizon Zero Dawn.
I get pity points.
For your final hint, this was the game before A Way Out from Joseph Ferris. It also very frequently gets described as being a single-player co-op game.
He made Journey? Hold on. That's not my final answer, because I didn't say it was. Single-player co-op.
How are you parsing that phrase, single-player co-op?
Well,
I just want to make sure you took it the right way.
It means that there's one person at the controls, but then other players can impact the game. Did you do Shadow of the Colossus? No, that's not co-op at all.
I'm going to just clarify it a little further, what I meant by that. It's a single-player game.
Yeah, no doubt.
And you are cooperating with yourself.
Braid? I mean, these hints are fair. these are pulls that I ought to know.
This is the only game I've heard called a single-player co-op game. Because it's one of a kind mechanically.
You're cooperating with yourself. This has got to be a puzzle game by the maker of A Way Out.
It's been a while since I've gotten to see you sweat. I'm enjoying this. I missed it.
Yeah, you haven't seen me this pained since like Noble 6. It's not Braid. It's a Talos principle. I don't know, Chris.
All right. It sounds like you're taking the loss on this.
A Talos principle.
All right, Talos Principle. That's a first-person puzzle game.
Yeah, you help yourself.
You were correct. This is a puzzle game, Heath. This is Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons.
Yeah.
A game you've heard of.
Let's look at it.
So the conceit of this game is there's two playable characters. They're brothers. Each one of them is controlled.
Two brothers.
Each one of them gets
a Mexican armada. Do you know what I'm referencing?
Like
Rick and Morty.
Oh.
Interdimensional cable.
Okay. In Brothers, the game, each brother is his own thumbstick. So when you're navigating these puzzles, you're literally rubbing your belly and patting your head at the same time.
Right.
Each brother is controlled independently of the other, but you need them to synchronize their movements in tandem with one another to solve puzzles and navigate the game. It's short, it's sweet, it is one of a kind. I love it. I want to correct this erroneous statement I made way back. I have no idea what episode it was. I think I said the first indie game I played was Telltale's The Walking Dead. That was incorrect. That was the second indie game I played. The first indie game I played was Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons. It has a very special place in my heart.
Okay.
I've introduced it to other people. If you literally have two people put a hand on the same controller, you can play it co-op, but that's not the intended experience.
That is way too intimate, yeah.
It's pretty intimate, and it makes the game become too simple because like the challenge comes from you, one entity, are controlling these two brothers, these separate entities, and that's where the complexity comes in. Sorry you didn't get it, Heath, but
that's fine. Yeah, it's a level 5. I like this though. I'm just watching some of the gameplay. It looks pretty cool. How you have to, and it's probably super user friendly.
Oh yeah, like I think the game uses the analog sticks and like one other button.
Yeah, for all your girlfriends who neglect to move the camera in certain games, this is right up their alley. I got 11 points. No, I only got 10. Right?
Let's see. You got 3 and 3 off the bat, then 1, and then 2. So I think you got 9.
Yeah, we will go with that. All right, I got 9 points. Chris, you stand to beat me. You have plenty of chances.
Okay.
All right, what's my theme? My theme, remember when we did Wild West songs?
How could I forget?
And I did the double tap root beer jingle.
Yeah.
That got me onto this theme.
Oh,
it will
great.
become apparent. I think I'll reveal it after the second song.
All right. So, I'm guessing it's like in-game jingles or advertising or something like that.
You're pretty close.
Before we begin,
yeah, take a break.
I've got to pee.
Yeah, go pee. Oh, it's funny that you have to go pee. I'll tell you why. All right. Here's song number 1.
I'm always discouraged when we open song 1.
You were saying, Chris?
I was going to say, and I have no idea what it's from. What did he say? Pepsi Man?
Your face, the look on Chris's face whenever I have fun is just, our parody is so good. Delicious.
So this is like I'm guessing it's an in-game ad for some thirst-quenching beverage, but what game is it from? I don't think I can get right off the bat 3 points. I don't know if that was...
Oh, really?
Yeah. Whatever you want me to be getting from this, I can't. All right.
Oh my god.
Pepsi Man.
Is correct, Chris.
Oh.
This is the theme to Pepsi Man.
What is Pepsi Man?
What is Pepsi Man, you ask? Pepsi Man is an action game developed and published back in 1999. Based on the
Holy
American
cow.
carbonated soft drink, Pepsi is an eponymous superhero mascot. Here is the game art. It's a big Pepsi Man who's like a Silver Surfer lookalike with a chain and a big Pepsi logo.
Yeah.
Quick, let us go to the long play. It's like
Holy cow.
describe what you're looking at. It's like an endless runner
yeah,
type.
endless runner through suburbia.
It's not endless though.
Picking up Pepsis. There's Pepsi branding everywhere. Just a bunch of civilians on sidewalks. I was going through someone's house now.
Oh.
I have never heard of Pepsi Man, but I'm glad you brought this to my attention.
Get
Heath.
Pepsi.
How did you hear about this game?
I mean, this is such a wacky, how could you not hear about Pepsi Man?
I have never heard of Pepsi Man.
And this song has no right being as good as it is for a 1999
Throwaway advertisement game.
corporate America Pepsi. Granted, this is obviously Japanese.
Yeah.
I love this song. It sounds so good. Let's try to find more about the development.
I feel like most of the passion behind this game went into the theme song.
Character was featured in commercials in Japan, calling it a simplified version of Crash Bandicoot. The only standout is that it's just got a giant, skin-tight Pepsi Man superhero who's actual design.
All right, Heath.
Oh, all right.
I've had enough.
All right, yo. Aren't you thirsty now?
A little.
Okay, I'm gonna reveal my theme. My theme is beverages.
Oh, interesting. Good thing I emptied my bladder before entering this segment.
Right? Okay, here's song number 2. We just gotta get into it.
All right. This almost sounds like there's a lot of drumming, kind of giving me a jungle vibe. What kind of beverages do you drink in the jungle? Oh, that sounds familiar.
It should. It really should.
It really should.
Don't read that hard into the theme.
Okay.
That the answer is always gonna be jungle juice.
Right. Yeah, so
This
the name of the game isn't related to a beverage.
Folks of the show, before we started recording, I was strapped trying to figure out other games that I could cram into this theme, like square pegs.
This is a very niche theme you invented.
You'll enjoy each one. I mean, you should guess this song.
That chord right there was very familiar. I can't place it though.
You've never played this game.
Okay.
But you've heard it played in other games that you do own.
All right. Maybe that means it's like one of the franchises in Smash Bros. Maybe. All right. I'm going to say this is just Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze.
Ooh. No. You'll get it. Okay, so your first hint. This game is known for its rubber hose style of animation that originated in cartoons of the 1930s.
Right. Thank you, Heath. This is Cuphead.
Yes, this is Floral Fury Cuphead. That's the link there. That's as good as you're getting.
Sure, that's fair. The character himself is a vessel for beverages.
Yes, yeah. You were right that it does appear in Smash. Because he's a Mii brawler.
Right.
No, he's a
skin for Mii fighters.
Gunner.
Gunner, okay.
Yeah, because he's shooting with his finger, yeah.
Gotcha.
And then the second hint was going to be this game's title refers to the anthropomorphized drinkware that is its playable character.
What a hint that is.
Yeah. All right. Good job. You have 5 points.
5 points, correct.
Yeah. To mine 9. Off to a good start, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
Song number 3. This would be kind of well at home in your theme.
And
it's
the
kind of
sad
melancholy,
songs. This is also sounding familiar.
yeah.
My head is going to like visual novels and dating sims, but I don't think that's what this song is from. Heath wouldn't pull from one of those.
Imagine.
All right.
What kind of beverages would you associate with this theme?
Tears. I feel like this is like a failure state scream, like you died and then this song plays.
You are very close.
Is this Super Mario Sunshine?
It's not Super Mario Sunshine.
Okay. There's a lot of water in that game.
Yeah, I don't think the liquid in the flood counts as a beverage.
That's where you're wrong.
Don't knock it till you try it. This song originates as the theme for a coffee shop where villagers can cross paths after a long day of catching butterflies and moving furniture.
I see. Really spoon feeding me that hint there, Heath. I feel like that level of hint should be saved for the second one, right?
Yeah, God forbid you just choked on Pepsi Man.
All right.
Choked being the operative word. Thank you.
True. So I'm just going to go with the most recent installment because I don't really have any insight into which one it could be. Is this Animal Crossing New Horizons?
We'll give it to you. It's not New Horizons, but it is. It appears in most of the Animal Crossing games.
Okay.
I couldn't care to find out. It's like New Leaf and with the other ones.
So this is the cafe music.
This is The Roost.
The Roost.
You've heard of it.
Okay.
As the last place results screen on the Animal Crossing tie-in track in Mario Kart 8.
Yeah.
This is when you come in last in that, maybe. Or maybe just any...
I'm just taking your word for it.
Any place. It sounds like a last place thing. I know it from the Donkey video.
Oh, that's where I heard it.
Yeah.
It's in the Donkey video.
Yeah, when he gets...
blue-shelled in slow motion.
And stuff. Yay, you have 7 points.
Yes.
This is good pace. You're going to need those 7 points.
All right.
We are on to song number 4.
So this is where the difficulty spikes, apparently.
I mean, I've never heard this song before.
Okay.
I added it. Song number 4.
Oh. This is giving me desert vibes, which are usually very devoid of beverages. What disappoints me about Mobius Tunes is I've never caught you off guard being like, oh, of course, it's clearly this when it's like your hardest pick and you'd never think I could get it.
Are you me?
I don't think I've ever done that.
But you're about to. Is that what you're setting up? You know where this is from?
Oh, no, that is not what I'm setting up. I have no idea what this is from.
Okay.
But that is a disappointment of mine because you have pulled off that feat of getting the guess out of nowhere.
I'm more worldly.
Evidently so, yeah.
You'll get there.
This is from Super Mario Sunshine.
Not Super Mario Sunshine.
Oh, but is it another Mario?
No, get away from Mario.
Okay.
Your first hint, let me just come up with it really quick.
Okay.
I should explain the beverage connection. This is the theme for the potion shop in this game. But when it comes to potions come in glasses, right?
Yeah, flasks.
Yeah. But when I think of containers, when it comes to this video game series, it's mostly pots.
It's mostly pots. That was such a wordy hint.
Well, dude, I mean, have you heard of this? Oh, I'm playing End Time still.
All right. Pot smashing games. my mind goes to like the Zelda games immediately. Link is always breaking those pots. And there are deserts in Zelda, the Gerudo Desert. That could be right at home.
How old is this theme, maybe?
How old is this? Man, narrowing down, I think it's a Zelda game, but there's so many to choose from.
That's what that wordy hint was. Yeah, I've never played a Zelda game outside of Breath of the Wild and that other one.
Sure.
So I was strapped to figure this out.
Okay, beverages.
Here's the
wait, no.
No. A little. This is an aside. God, I've had Pepsi Man from the jump,
Really?
from like early games of Mobius Tunes. I had Cuphead, the Floral Fury, and then the Roost. That got me like, okay, we can do beverages here. And I needed more beverage video game songs. You can't search engine optimization video game drink without getting all this like top 10 games to play while you're drunk and drinking games. And it's like, no, I just want like beverages in games. And then it's like cocktail recipes inspired by game drinks.
I would have expected to see a lot of like Monster Energy pop up.
It's so difficult. And so I just picked like a Zelda potion shop theme. And up to you to parse what game it's from.
Dang. All right. So
that's what that wordy hint was. I was just like, pots.
where my head goes is, okay, beverages. Which Zelda game has the most water in it? And then to the answer to that would be
like the sailing one.
Yeah, the Wind Waker. But it doesn't seem like you gave that level of thought to selecting your Zelda game. Let's go with this is The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time.
Is the correct answer. You have tied me at 9 points, Chris.
Excellent.
Round of applause, everybody. Woo! Okay, hey fans, look, I can give you winners in the form of Pepsi Man, but like they can't all be home runs. That was just I had to tee it up. Song number 5. This is for the game.
All tied up.
This is like a Chris song, isn't it?
Yeah, so far this is a Chris
Definitely
song.
not a Bleep Blue Heath song.
It's got some harpsichord.
Yeah.
For a second, I thought it sounded familiar, but...
We'll wait for the vocals.
Oh, there are vocals in this song? Man, it's a Chris song.
Look at the time. This is a 7-minute song.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, this is a doozy.
All right, I'll pull up a chair then.
This is game 8, right?
Yeah,
you have game 9 and 10 planned out?
I do, yeah.
Oh my god.
Volume 9 is going to be the most egregious yet.
Okay.
Interesting.
Talk me through it, right? Like,
so
beverages,
women singing. I feel like when it comes to video games, vocals, I pick a lot of songs with vocals, but in general, you don't hear them that often, which means whenever one does crop up, it tends to stick with you. But this one doesn't ring a bell, so I don't think this could be from a game I played. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's my current hypothesis.
I'm trying not to give you more like bonus hints.
Yeah, don't. That would be unfair. Especially since we're all tied up right now.
It's a good song.
It sounds sad. Could be right at home on my list. What are some sad video games? And this sounds contemporary too, not a retro game. No way.
There's no dead giveaways in the lyrics.
Okay, yeah. No Pepsi Man.
Yo, Halloween's coming up.
Yeah.
You gonna work out and make buff enough to be Pepsi Man?
I don't know if I can get that buff.
Yeah.
Not without competing in the drugged Olympics.
Yeah.
All right, I'm pulling up blanks for this one. Heath, I'm ready for my first hint.
Okay, you're just guessing contemporary sad game that tangentially has a beverage in it?
Yep, that's my hint. That's my guess.
All right. Now I'm trying to think.
I'm just gonna throw a song out there. I know
A game out there.
a game out there. Thank you. I know David Cage likes shower scenes, and you could get a drink in the shower. So is this Beyond Two Souls?
It's not Beyond Two Souls. That's a fine guess. I'm over here in the driver's seat because we're tied up, right?
Right.
If I give you hint number 1 as written, you'll easy clap.
That would be boring.
So I'm improving during this. My favorite part of the song. The presentation of songs in this game was very novel, or novel to me at least. It would literally have text overlay that says the title of the song by the artist.
Okay.
And then that would disappear. It was very like forward facing as you were just walking across the landscape, I'll say.
Okay. Interesting. Having like the music credits appear on screen makes me think of music videos, and the game that comes to mind when I think of a game mashed up with a music video, like a playable music video, would be Sayonara Wild Hearts.
I thought, yeah, you were teeing that up. Yeah, Sayonara Wild Hearts.
Yeah, that's my guess.
You were closer with Beyond Two Souls, but like barely.
Okay.
That's a fun game. Sayonara would have been way more upbeat.
Yeah, that's like more of a.
Yeah.
It's like EDM soundtrack. I think.
No fault there. The end of my hint there, where I said walking across the landscape. You should have paid more attention to that. Your hint number 2 is the beverage in question that makes this game eligible for my theme, and you already mentioned it, is Monster Energy.
This game has Monster Energy in it. Oh, I got it. This is Death Stranding.
Is correct.
Thankfully, this image of Norman Reedus just pounding Monster Energy popped into my head. Because for a second, I was like, oh no, what does that mean? And you're right. This is a cross-country traversal game.
This is Asylum for the Feeling by Silent Poets. The other artists in this game predominantly was Low Roar. I didn't like any of their songs. I like this song a lot. This is just right after you get through a huge ghost-infested swampy area.
Okay.
And you're like scaling down a cliff. And it takes 7 minutes to get to your, what's it called? Like Bridges base.
So they've timed the walking duration to match up with the song.
They designed the walking duration with the song in mind. You got 10 points with that last bit?
Yeah, I guess I did.
Well done, Chris. You continue to cement your lead in Mobius Tunes.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Wow, that was a contentious one, but I had a lot of fun with it. Way better than the Wild West one. Oh, that was cancer.
Oh, and I was kicking myself because I was like, what's your other beverage songs? Oh, I already did the double tap jingle. I can't do that one. And I also honorable mentioned like all the other jingles. So no clue what I'm doing next.
Okay.
Next thing. Well, because we've already mentioned like so many song games.
Right. If you and I have both picked 5 and we've done this 8 times, we both selected 40 games, give or take.
Yeah. So that's Mobius Tunes.
That was Mobius Tunes. And that was also Mobius Tubes, because the episode is coming to a end.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, folks. I had a lot of fun. That was episode 50.
I never thought we'd do 50 of these, but I'm glad we did.
Do you want to hint at what you're doing next? While we were recording this, I installed Watch Dogs 2.
Okay. Earlier today, Hades got a stealth release, so I might not be able to resist playing that. I love Supergiant so much.
Still paid early access, right?
No, so it's out of early access now.
Okay.
It's got version 1.0.
Are you grandfathered in?
I would be paying for the game.
Oh, all right.
I've never touched Hades.
You never touched it, yeah. You waited. Okay.
So that's what I might be doing.
Cool.
Oh, I know what I definitely will be playing is the Super Mario 3D All-Stars collection, because that comes out on Friday.
Okay.
Don't know which one I'm going to play first. Maybe
64.
Maybe Galaxy.
Really?
Because that's my favorite.
Okay, I would save that.
Yeah, work my way up to it.
Yeah.
The Mario 64, I've only played the Nintendo DS port of that game, which is a good way to play it, I've heard.
Really? Oh, yeah. I guess you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. Which apparently this version is not the port from the DS. It's just the original, which is maybe a missed opportunity.
Oh, because there were quality of life features in the DS version.
Yeah, there were. I think they added some new content as well.
Mm.
But that's neither here nor there. If you want to write us an email,
yeah, more importantly, folks,
you can do so by sending it to mobiustubespodcast@gmail.com.
If you know of other celebrities that are in the gaming sphere adjacent, like Jamie Lee Curtis or Henry Cavill, let us know, because those are always cool. It's like they have secret club membership.
Right.
Yeah, that's all I got.
All right. Thanks for recording with me, Heath.
That's Mobius Tunes Podcast at gmail.com. I don't think I said it yet.
And we'll catch you all next time.
Bye-bye.